Hey everyone, and welcome to this session of Workflow Wednesdays. Today, we're going to be talking about onboarding. We get this question a lot. How does onboarding actually work for new hires coming into 50 Skills? So we wanted to show you an example of our existing onboarding process and how we literally move people through it step by step. And maybe there's some insights that you can take home with you. Let's take a look. So at this point in time, we've decided to make a hiring decision. We've offered someone the job. We've pre-boarded them in the sense that they've already signed all the paperwork and all the background checks, but now it's really about starting their first day and everything that happens after that. So the first thing that happens is that we send out an email. And the email is just welcoming them to 50 Skills, explaining to them how they get access to all of our systems, encouraging them to, just basically telling them what's up, testing our products, meeting the team, the internal buddy setup, and a lot of other things that are there. We also have, we use Slack for internal communication as a company. And so a lot of the communications we use actually also takes place via Slack. And we'll show you some examples of how that looks like in a second as well. We also encourage people to take down notes so that if there's anything in the experience that could be improved, like literally take those notes along the way, and we'll send out surveys to collect the data snippets to improve the experience for the next person coming on board. So let's take a look at how this happens. So it triggers off with this email. And again, this goes to the company email of the individual because we've already pre-boarded them into the organization. So it goes to the company email. And the second that finishes, all these other things are going to trigger and take place. So the first thing that's going to happen here is going to send a form to a supervisor. Now, the supervisor is going to pick all the different subscriptions that this individual is going to get. So we have a ton of subscriptions that we want our employees to have, and it's different between those that are in sales, customer support, and other functions, what kind of subscriptions they need. It also varies between people coming on board as full-time employees, part-time employees, people in our offices in Iceland or elsewhere. But this is a place where initially, on the first day, what are the different subscriptions and tools that these individuals need to get access to? So the supervisor goes ahead and picks those. Once the subscriptions have been picked and selected, it's gonna push out the results to what we call the team onboarding Slack channel. So we have a Slack channel called Team Onboarding where we add the individual who's coming on board our team. We also add all of the kind of key stakeholders around the onboarding process, whether it's team members that are going to be meeting with them in person, their buddy, their direct supervisor, etc. It's also a nice way for team members to just go through the channel, see what's happened before, see common, frequently asked questions, those sorts of things. But once you've, the supervisor has kind of added these, it's basically just a notification that goes out telling the entire team, look, we've filled out this information, and now you're being added into all the different subscriptions that were selected. And the conversation can then continue on the Slack channel through threads that are used there. Next thing that comes up, and we call this kind of the learning branch. So it's just this actually doesn't do anything. This is just kind of to map up everything below this action here is going to be related to learning. So we wait until their first start date. So we've already mapped up the start date that we add as a journey attribute. So whenever we add a traveler to this journey, we also add when's their first start date. At 9 o'clock in the morning, it's going to send out this message here. And the message is just kind of letting them know that the training program has started. And it has a link to a video that we recorded where we are kind of talking about the story of the company, how we got started, how we ended up where we are today, those sorts of things. And it also has these kind of interesting things because we're also teaching people how our own product works. So just by kind of clicking a thing, that's showcasing a simple test in our product. So we kind of mix in between our own product and the teachings of it with the learning path itself. Second thing, video lessons. So we have a ton of videos, right? So we have a ton of videos related to both of our products that we've launched in the market. And this is a place where you can, where they're kind of encouraged to take a look at some of our courses and things that we have online to really know how the product itself works. Next step for us is just giving people access to our product. Have them tested rigorously and learn everything there is about it. The team branch is also pretty simple. We simply send out a message to all the key people that new hires need to meet. It sends a message on Slack channels and makes sure that they book meetings with the new hires and set up all the sessions that are required. Next up is the new hire buddy program. So we always select a buddy that we think is a good fit for this new hire. And we announce who the buddy is on a Slack channel. We also have a pretty detailed new hire buddy checklist. And the checklist is really making sure that people feel welcome on the first day, that there's orientation. It's around the culture and the just integration into the company, and then just a variety of other pointers and texts here. So we just want to make sure it's a small checklist that this new hire buddy has on the side, while of course kind of just showing the person around, making sure they meet everyone and knows how things work around the office. We also have a ton of small reminders towards the buddy itself. So the buddy gets reminders on making sure to really check in with the person who is starting, and they do that both on the start date early in the morning to make sure that they have everything ready, but also 3 days after, 2 weeks after, those sorts of things. What we then do in the end is that we actually have a feedback form that goes to the traveler going through the journey, the new hire, and they're asked to provide a feedback both on what we call kind of an experience NPS, like an ENPS score, where they can kind of give a rating on how they felt about the buddy and what was done there. And then this is huge for us to really think about, there is going to be another person joining the company, and how can you really improve the process for that individual? So just getting those text comments. And the second this has been filled out, it's going to go to a private channel that goes into a feedback loop on Slack again, that has its own process. So it really pushes the messaging from that to that private channel, and then depending on the comments and the notes, that individual will take that forward. And finally, there's what we call just a generalistic ENPS score, and we highly recommend this one for basically any type of journey where you have internal processes to map out how was the experience in general. How was the onboarding experience? Someone was just joining the company, and how did we do? Everything from training, the first meetings, the videos. What could we have actually done differently? And really, take those notes and comments. Like we've mentioned it in numerous places, in emails and Slack messages, and text messages as well. But we really want to make sure that when people are getting onboarded, when they're really in that mode, to take down notes, to share those notes with us, so that we can actually do a better job at what we're doing. Hope you enjoyed it. Looking forward to hearing what kind of onboarding journeys you're building within your organization.